lot of new things are happening, a lot of changes.
Yes.
One being the grand baby.
Fatherhood.
Fatherhood.
The baby has. I mean, the whole process. You can prepare as much as you want, but at the end of the day, I think nothing truly prepares you for that moment that you look and then the baby just comes out of your wife. Inconceivable how there's no amount of words that would explain how that feels. Like
It must be something instinctual.
100%,
Right?
100%. It's something that you don't experience on a normal level. Like, whether they look like you or not, you help create life.
Am I the asshole
Yes.
for yelling at my husband for not watching the baby?
Okay.
Recently, my husband and I moved out of state, so I'm a stay-at-home mom with a 2-month-old, and I'm here with her 24/7. I say this because I've asked my husband before if he can watch her. I can have some time to decompress and then come back and take her to make dinner. Usually he does that, but sometimes he doesn't really care and just walks off and does his own thing. Today I tried to talk to him about it and asked if we could possibly take shifts. He told me he would only be willing to watch her for 1 hour during the night. So am I the asshole for yelling at him?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to another episode of
The Coffee Breakup.
And obviously we've had a little bit of a slower season,
Yes, different season, new season.
but a lot of new things are happening, a lot of changes.
Yes.
One being the grand baby.
Fatherhood.
Fatherhood.
Parenthood.
The delivery of a new child.
Yes, and
I'm sure your hands have been extremely busy.
It's been so much, because they require so much work. My baby's 2 months, 9 weeks, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But also, it has just kind of required so much work, so much hands-on, because they're so dependent on you. Literally, they depend for everything on you. So it's been an amazing journey, but it does take a lot of energy, and unfortunately, we had to slow things down a little bit. But nonetheless, I'm excited to sit down here with you and talk about it.
Has it been everything that you've expected it to be, or has anything caught you by surprise?
That's a great question. It has been. I didn't know what to expect. My first kid, But
you were prepped. Like, did you've asked questions? I'm
Yeah.
sure. I know you did your homework.
100%.
So based on all that, baby's here. We're here. How long has it been since?
What since what?
Since he's been since the
9
king.
weeks. Yeah, he's 9 weeks.
So what has that been like?
The baby has. I mean, the whole process. You can prepare as much as you want, but at the end of the day, I think nothing truly prepares you for that moment that you look and then the baby just comes out of your wife vagina. But it's been, and I held him, and at that moment, like, everything has changed, and like my whole trajectory of my life has gone into a different way.
So it seems like what they say is true. Like once you see that baby and you hold that baby,
It's inconceivable how there's no amount of words that would explain how that feels. Like,
it must be something instinctual.
100%,
Right?
100%. It's something that you don't experience on a normal level. Like, anything that you go through on a day-to-day basis does not compare to the experience that you have when you look at your woman laying down, going through the pain of going through labor, crying, tears, blood, all kinds of stuff going on there.
Graphic.
And yes, yeah. And then, because it gets encapsulated into the very moment, right? 9 months, however long you guys been together, every moment of your life, boom, this is kind of right there. And then all of a sudden you have another human being there that you kind of help create. Half of this is you, whether they look like you or not. You help create life, and they're gonna grow up and they're gonna meet people and shape other people's lives and date and fall in love and break hearts and do all these things. You kind of created another human being, which is remarkable. So it's been everything I've dreamed of and more. I didn't know what to expect. I was scared. I was afraid. I was kind of like worried. But for the most part, it's been such a rewarding experience. Don't get me wrong. When it's 3 a.m, you wake up and baby cries and you got to change the diaper and he can't go to sleep. And at that moment, it's like, fuck. It's tough. But you see them smile it just eradicates every bad experience you've ever had.
Really?
It's hard to describe, and if you ever, I'm sure you will, but you'll understand. It'll make sense. It'll just click.
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking about you guys, and then Christina and I, we're gonna get married at the end of this year.
Yes.
The mission is to immediately start having children. Really want to try. Not just to keep up with you. Apparently, want to have maybe we have some boys or some friends. But no, but we're in a kind of the stage in our lives that that is the next step for us. And I almost had like a little moment, like almost like I don't want to call it a crisis, but it hit me that it's like what my child is going to experience is going, like, I think back when I was younger.
Yes.
The first time that I had my heart broken, or the first time that I won something, the first time that I learned something valuable, or that all those first time experiences. Yes. I'm like, man, I just hope that I can be a mentor to my child to say, hey, like, I've been there, I know. And then I think of when I was a kid, no matter what anyone would tell me, it would not take away of that moment. Like, you still have to learn it yourself. So I started thinking, I'm like, oh my God, the pain that I'm going to go through when my child, who's not even here, is going to experience anything for the first time. It's going to be such a, like, this discovery of emotions and like these new feelings that you never heard of or thought of or felt. And it's like, I just hope that, one, they make the right decision. And if not, how can I be of a support system
be there
to guide them through? And all that hit me at once, like in a millisecond. Just like I thought of you, kid, and then all these emotions over me. And I'm like, man, it's so crazy how I'm in a position now that I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have done a few things differently. I'm like, or I wish I would have been better prepared. And it's like, I'm gonna have a child who's gonna go through it. Yes. It's like I'm gonna like relive everything that I went through, but now as like an overseer, as like a bystander looking at my own child going through that.
Yeah. And there's only so much that you control, and obviously I'm not there yet or anything close to it, but you're gonna some of those experiences you're gonna kind of go through again. Like, they're gonna get their heart broken, and you can't do it. There's nothing you could do, and there's nothing you could do to make them feel better. And then I can only imagine like when he just got his first rounds of shots, and he was crying, and he had like a little bit of a fever. This was the first time, and so seeing him be in pain and suffer, like, I can't imagine. And this was the first time of many encounters where they're gonna go through pain, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever. And I was like hurting for him. I was like, dude, I love this being so much. I don't want any harm to happen to them. But you and I know that it's going to happen.
Right.
It's gonna shape them for who they are, and potentially, most likely, for the better.
Sure.
So I just want to be there for them and tell them, hey, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be there for you, and I want to be, in a way, be there for them. How my father really wasn't around all that much, so I kind of want to be that. And I've done as much as I could, and will always continue to do it as much as I can to be the father figure that I somewhat wish I had when I grew up, and I didn't really have. So, but yeah, you can only prepare them for so much. But at the end of the day, they have to go through it themselves, just like you did.
I think the scariest part though is because like we have lived an experience that now we think, man, I want to be the father figure that I never had. Or maybe whatever was missing from my father, I want to be able to complete that and instill that on my child. My concern is, as life evolves and as new adaptations come to be, how are we with our experience? Because we only know what we know, obviously, right? You're but now there's going to be new developments, and maybe, who knows, of technology or whatever, learning things, or anything that could happen that we have never experienced. We're going to still be experiencing that at the same time as our kids are going to experience it. Yeah. How are we going to adjust the experiences that we've had to, I guess, modernize whatever it could happen? And I don't want to like say it as a thing, but a couple years ago, like this whole like gender crisis of like, but it was new, where it's like, how do we handle this? Like, I've never had to handle or had this conversation. I'm like, yo, there's a guy and there's a girl. That's it. So it's like this new thing that comes in. It's like, oh, how do we now adapt? How do we now talk? So it's like, I wonder what, as you have a child, and the day that I have a child, what experiences are they going to have that maybe I've never gone through? And it's like, man, now as a parent, as this mentor, as this, like, they look up to you, the role that you have to basically figure out the problem by never even experiencing the problem and still finding the solution. That's where I'm panicking. Where I'm like, I don't know everything. Yeah. So how am I supposed to Scary.
You will figure it out. I truly believe that, and if you can, you find somebody else who will. Like, truth be told, as a parent, as a father, that's kind of your job, you know. And you're going to set them up for as much as the best type of response and best type of life that you can. But at the end of the day, for the most part, you're kind of like in the passenger seat, and you kind of like making sure that they kind of are set up for the life that they want to live. But it's only so much you can do.
Sure.
You know? But you're gonna do whatever you can and humanly possible to make sure that they succeed in whatever it is that they want to, endeavor on. You know. So
Okay.
It's an amazing journey. I'm so excited. Like when I see him, he's 2 months old. When I see him smile, when I see him laugh, it's like the whole world stops. You know, you had a terrible day at work, doesn't matter. You had some shithead that pissed you off, cut you off, been in traffic for an hour. You see your baby smile, laugh, it all goes out the window. You know, and so it's such a pure love and devotion you have. It's inconceivable to someone who's never felt that way. And it doesn't mean that if you never had kids or you don't have kids, that your life or you've experienced your experiences are less valid. It doesn't mean that at all. But I can only just speak from my experience that I've never felt this way about anything or anyone in my life. So it's remarkable. So, but yeah, things have changed, things have shifted. So here we are.
What has been the biggest change? Perhaps it's like a permanent change that maybe you didn't expect that you had to do, and then you're like, no, like the only way to do it is like this now. Like we have no choice but to do it this way now.
The biggest change. It's a great question. The biggest change is how the baby has changed the relationship between me and Claudia.
How so?
How could it not? Like everything has changed. Now, like for the duration of our knowing each other, our lives that we've known each other, we've been the focal point for the majority of our lives, like with each other. Like we've had each other, and there was nothing really else. And if we wanted to do something, and we're okay with it, we would just do it. But now all of a sudden, fast forward, baby was born. Like all that changed. It's not about me or her anymore. It's about the baby. So that changes everything from how we wake up in the morning, how we go to sleep, what we do, what we don't do, trips we take, the trips we don't take, the things that we care about, the things that we love. And all of a sudden, everything is just kind of resolves around this 12-pound human being that is just a bundle of love. However, I'm not prepared, and I don't have the answer. I'm talking about it now because I'm being honest, I'm being vulnerable, but it has changed a relationship, and I don't know. Like it's like they always say, like you choose your partner first, they come first, and I still to this day believe in that. I just don't know how the relationship now has changed and how to choose each other.
Sure, I think I know.
I don't
what
know,
you
and
mean.
still like
It's like you wish you could split yourself in half.
yes,
and be able to do both.
it breaks my heart sometimes that I don't have enough time. Like you work, you go to the gym, you do all these things, you try to.
Sure.
Then you take care of the baby, whatever, and then sometimes you fall short of being the husband that you want to be, the wife that you want to be. And sometimes I just the other day, like I've said it too, like we try to find time, and a lot of times we do, but like just want to hug my partner, or just like you put the baby down, and you're like, oh, now I can hug my partner. But at the first instinct of the night, you go down, you put down the baby. It's not let me hug my partner. It's not let me kiss them. And I try to, like whatever. But like you come home, it's like, how's the baby? What are his needs? Because he's 2 months. He needs to be he needs to be fed. He needs to change his diaper. You want to wash him. It's a whole ass routine. You want to go somewhere, you gotta put the car seat in. It's yada yada yada. What I find to be the hardest thing is like the time with my partner, with Claudia. Like that's my ride or die. I love that woman so much. I would die for her. Like that, no questions asked. But how can I get to stay close for her while I'm also having a 2-month-old baby? I don't know how to swing that. I don't know how to navigate that. And so I'm still learning. Baby's 2 months old. So, and I always love to hear people who have better experiences, more experiences to me. I think that's how you learn. And if you have experiences, I would love to hear that. It's tough. It's hard. It's not easy, and it has made me question things. And now I think about now having how is our relationship? Has it been better, worse? I definitely don't think
it's been challenged.
It's been challenged. I don't have an exact answer. Who I am, 100% better. Baby, my life has been for the better. But I don't know the answer for me and Claudia. I don't really know how the life looks like for me and her.
Well, but
I don't really know.
it seems like there's a little bit of, thank you for sharing, by
Yeah.
the way. It seems like there's a little bit of concern. However, I think that it's beautiful that you're able to be vulnerable
Sure,
about it
yeah.
and share that.
And I'm talking about
and I
it.
know that you speak with
yeah.
her as well about
Yeah,
this.
of
I'm sure. I
course.
know you're very vocal about
Yes,
that in order to
yeah,
really
yeah.
solve. And that's how in our nature, like we need to solve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's
100%.
not a problem. You know, this is the chapter that you've stepped into in your life.
Yeah.
Where
That's true.
I think the love that you guys are sharing together is how well you work together to make your lives easier with a baby.
Yeah.
I think that you working together as a team, because it's true, like the time that you guys used to have for each other is now being kind of, it's distracted. Yeah, it's allocated
to the baby.
But
Yes.
so I think that that's where the teamwork that you guys have together, where, because I can only imagine it's like, man, we don't spend any time together, and you start to build a little bit of, it's always the baby. Like, what about us? Like,
Yeah.
right.
And it's not to take anything away from the baby. The baby's love.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like, yo, like.
I get it. I still,
You
I
know?
think we're very green in this, like very, very early, where it's like there's still
100%.
some time, which is, it's good that you say that, because maybe a lot of people go into this and then they're thinking like, hey, you know, 10 weeks ago, there wasn't a baby here.
Yeah,
And then a
yeah.
year ago, we were as happy as it can be.
Happy as can
And
be.
now all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're like, how do we get back to where we were? And I think that you need to focus on how to make the future, how to lay that pavement on
Yeah.
for what that's going to look like now with an addition.
100%. And up until this point, I never had to worry about, like, if we want to go on a trip, now I got to worry about a fucking car seat and shit like that. Like, I never had to worry about these things. If we wanted to get up and do, hey, you hungry? Let's go happy hour here. This place over down the street. There's so many more steps involved now.
Sure.
And I love the life that I live now, but I really mourn the life that I used to have with Claudia.
Sure.
And that's okay. And that's okay. It's normal.
But this was
fine.
part of the plan, right?
Yeah, and I knew this would come.
Right.
But then it happens, and it still kind of stings, and it's still kind of like, it's a process. You kind of learn, like, okay, like, this is where we are. What can I do? What can't I do anymore? And you kind of relearn, and I'm a big believer in that. And as life goes on, different phases, different chapters, you become a new person, a different person. And so this is my current chapter, and I decided to share it with you and obviously with our podcast, because, you know, it's a real thing, and people go through it. There's nothing to be ashamed about. I'm proud of it. I live it. I don't have all the answers, but hopefully talking about it, people can resonate, people can relate, and be like, you know what, I'm not the only one who goes through this. This is kind of the point.
Yeah,
of the
no one's
podcast.
able to really talk about. Sometimes there's no one to really that
Yeah.
you're able to vent to. And I think that if someone's watching this, or maybe their partner is watching, anyone, a friend,
Yeah.
they're like, man, you know what, my boy's going through this, or, you know, my best friend, you know, she's feeling the same way. Perhaps this is a way to feel like, okay, well, this seems like it's part of the process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't expect everything to basically be perfect. Like, there is going to be challenges.
Yeah.
And I think the way that I'm kind of seeing this, and I'm not in your shoes, I can imagine the pressure that sometimes you even put on yourself to try to do everything at once with everything that's already on your plate. But it's, again, how you're able to move forward.
Yeah.
And then just get ready for the new chapter, and then how you guys are then being able to learn and kind of progress of what it's going to be like. I just think that you're very early, but I'm sure there's other people in the same situation, and I'm hoping that probably, you know, someone who's already gone through this patch.
More seasons.
Right. Be like,
Yeah.
well, this is what we did. And then hopefully maybe we get someone.
Absolutely. And as I go through these experiences and unique position, kind of like the guinea pig in this podcast, like, we'll talk about it and we'll go through it. So it's been a great journey. Ultimately, I love it. I love my son. I love my wife. I love the life that I live. Doesn't come without its challenges, but, you know, even a bad day with the baby and my wife, that's still like the best day, like, that I could even possibly conceive of. So I'm grateful for it, and even up until before having the kid, I was always like, if I don't have a kid, it's fine, it's no big deal. Like, I love my life, and I truly believe that. But having him is just changed everything, and I couldn't imagine a life without him. My wife's like, oh, like, joke, you know, something that we like fucking joke around, like, oh, if somebody paid you like $1 million, would you like sell your kid? stupid.
You're laughing a little too hard at this joke, dude.
But I'm like, no, like, there's no amount of money that
No?
no
2 million.
nothing, dude. You know, it's just he's perfect. He's perfect, and I
3
can't-
million.
I keep going. But I love him, dude. I love him, and I try to be very involved. I try to be so hands on, and
Yeah, that's a good thing about you, man.
that's like I'm not like, and I'm not Hispanic, and I know in Hispanic culture, from what I understand, it's a little bit different where a lot of women take like the man just doesn't really. Is it true? I mean, I don't know. That woman, like, they usually take the lead on when it comes to like the baby and the nurturing and the kid and making those decisions, and have friends or people that I know that where the man doesn't really fucking do anything when it comes to like raising the children. Like, the woman does everything and dresses them and bathes them and does all this stuff and da da da. And I could never even think about that. Like, I can't even imagine that. Like, I'm so like, I bathe him every night. Like, we have like a little routine, and short of breastfeeding him because I literally can't do that. Pretty much do everything. Like, I'm involved in everything. And so Claudia's an amazing mother, and I love how she's with him. But I'm also a very present father, and I love that, and I'm so proud of being in his life. And I didn't really have that. My father never bathed me or did all these things with me, and I'm like, but I don't want that for my son. I want to be there for him. I want to be involved, and that's kind of how I choose to kind of raise him. You know,
I think we were raised in a different dynamics of what
yeah.
parents, like, their roles were. Where
Was
the
it like a
mom would
different
stay,
time?
the dad. I think,
Yeah.
that was their norm.
Yeah,
I think
true.
now fathers, well, ideally, those who are present and those who actually want to have their kid, not those that are just like, popping babies out, and then who's the baby daddy? I don't know. You're obviously someone who wanted to have a child.
Yeah.
I think before it was like, okay, the mom does the nurturing, the father is the one that shows no emotion, and they can't cry, and they have to be a certain figure, and then they're the authority, and then this is what it is. Whereas now I feel like there's a balance where it's like, hey, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, right? Like, there's a I think a powerful way to be gentle and to teach your child that of, hey, I know how to take care. What is it that I think I heard on actually a Joe Rogan podcast where it was Jordan Peterson that he says, like, hey, you being a weak person it's not a good thing. Like, you not knowing how to fight is not a good thing. Because I think there was an argument of like, I don't know if it was about jiu-jitsu or something like that, but it's like, you want to be able to kill someone if you have to, but what's important is you have to learn how to control it. That's what makes you powerful, is being able to have that presence of, yes, I'm capable of doing something, but I can control it and actually be this gentle figure to be able to teach you in a way that you can absorb it. Whereas before it was like, oh, you'll never understand. I never saw my father cry. My father would never talk to me about certain things. Like, no, we have to be able to be open so we can now connect to a level that a child would only understand. They're not going to understand the authority until they're our age, that they're like, I get why my dad was like that.
Hindsight, they will know.
But as a kid, I didn't understand. And I think that's where the problem was as a child, where we weren't really able to connect with our fathers because they didn't feel like they were supposed to. They had a different persona that they were supposed to fill.
Yeah.
And I think what's important is being the father, but still being able almost like to connect with the mother. Like, you want the mother to be the figure of nurture, of safety, like, that's my mom, like, no matter what, like, that's my mom. But my father, like, that's someone that I know will protect me. Like, that's someone that I look up to, that I want to be like.
Yeah.
And I think that's the role of a father. But how can we win our children over? And I think that's where you're able to be involved. So I think that's the new dynamic that I felt like we probably didn't have, which is what you shared earlier. Like, I want to be a little bit different. And I commend you for that, because I think that's what's, as a child, I think that's what everybody needs. They need to be able to say, hey, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. It's okay to cry. But how can we learn from that to not allow it to happen again?
Yeah,
and I think
100%.
that the man's problem-solving instinct is where that comes into play, but it's that balance of being able to transition into
For sure. I like that's a great way of putting it. For sure.
It's an exciting time for you, man.
It's an exciting chapter, and also like pushes me to do better, and like I want to be successful. I want to be somebody that my son could be proud of down the line, and I want to give my kid the life that other people could. I didn't have really. I mean, I had a good childhood. Like, I didn't grow up in fucking poverty, but I want my kid to grow up in a life that he's comfortable living, and same thing for my wife. I want them to be comfortable. I don't want them to struggle. So it kind of pushes me to become and do better, which I think is a great, like, catalyst for, self improvement and greatness and just overall being a better person. So I'm soaking it all in. Trying to be as present as I can, and I think that's one thing that I don't take for granted. Like, he grows so quick. He's 2 months. Like, it feels like it was just yesterday when he was born. So my focal point right now is, yes, to be ambitious, yes, to be driven, yes, to make money, but also to be present. I don't want to be that parent that is or the father that is never home, that is never involved, because it's this thing that they say. Somebody once said, they told it to me, and I've heard it before. Like, the nights are long, but the years are short, because time just goes by so quick. At 2 in the morning, it feels like, oh fuck, like I wish it would fucking stop. But over the course of months and years, it just kind of blends all in. Like, he's 2 months already. It just feels like it was just yesterday when he was born. So I just try to soak it all in. When I hold him, like at night, last night, I had him on my chest. There's going to be a moment when he doesn't, A, he's too big to lay on my chest, and B, well, he doesn't want to lay on my chest anymore.
Okay.
So for me, it's like, it sounds silly, but you'll experience it. When you hold, there's nothing like else that matters. When you have them on your chest and they just lay on you and they're just like there and you kind of hear your heartbeat and you're like knocked out, nothing else matters. It's an amazing experience. But it's only for so long when they were able to do that.
Sure.
So when that's no longer happened, there's like certain milestones that happen throughout
Sure,
their lives. And I just try to soak it all in. I try to embrace it. I try to live for the moment. There's always more money to be made. There's always something else to do.
But time.
But time is a thief.
It's finite.
It's finite.
So much.
Nothing is guaranteed. God forbid something happens on the way, drive home. God knows what could happen. So I try to soak it all in and just kind of embrace the time I have with my son and my wife, of course, as well. So it's a beautiful experience, bro.
Do you find it challenging to be present, or do you find it easy to be present? And I ask this because, for instance, today I was working nonstop from the moment the doors opened until I basically came over here.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do is talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to get over here. I was falling asleep in the car, and I'm like, now I got to talk on a podcast, and I'm going to start seeing people. My social battery's on E right now. So I'm trying to learn. I'm like, hey, I'm going to have to shift that, because the moment I have a child, I get home. I can't just be like, listen, I've been working all day. Like, you deal with him. I don't want to be like that. So then for you, you work.
Yeah.
Maybe not as often. Have you cut back, or are you still back to normal?
I don't work like before the baby was born. I would work like 6 days a week and all that shit. I don't do that anymore.
You were aggressively trying to ramp up money, though. I know
which worked in the favor and it made sense at the time. Now I'm in a different chapter. I'm slowing down.
Okay. And you're able to.
Yes, I'm able
bit,
to. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense for what we are. So I don't work anymore 6 hours, 6 days a week, or 55 hours a week. I don't do that shit anymore.
So then now your involvement, you participating, that you want to be there and present.
100%.
You feel like that's a challenge? You feel like it's been an easy thing for you to do? Or have you had to find like...
It's a great question. But when I come home and when I see him, no, like I could work a double shift on a Sunday night, which Sundays are my long days. I come home. I've worked 12 hours. I shower really quick, wash my hands. I hold the baby. I feed him. I change his diaper. Something changes.
Recharge.
Yeah. It's like
batteries out. Yeah, batteries in.
Yeah. You hold him and it's like, oh. You just feel like a new person when I see him. Nothing else matters, and nothing that happened before mattered either. So you could have a shitty day, like I said. You could work, be exhausted, feet hurt, you're fucking dead, tired. You see that baby, you're good. So for me, it was not. My role and our roles are a little bit different, me and Claudius, but for the most part, they're pretty much aligned in terms of we both bathe. Like, for the most part, I bathe him and shower him, because that's kind of like the thing I do. Both change his diapers. Now we bottle feed him, to which point, so I'll feed him till we both feed him, change him, do all these things. Like, I'm very much involved. She does most of the night feedings, because I work and she doesn't, in terms of going to an actual job. So it just, for the most part, she works up at night, and a lot of times she just breastfeeds him and stuff like that. But we do take turns at night, a good amount of time. But there's never a moment where she feels like, damn, I can't have my moment because he won't watch him, or because he'll take care of him, or like she never has to worry about that. Like yesterday, she went to do her nails. Like she was gone for like 5 hours, did her nails, did a little bit of thing. I stayed home with the babies, no problem. It's my kid. It's not babysitting. I'm watching my kid. Like so, like our roles and responsibilities are a little bit different, but for the most part, we're a team. We're in sync. We work together. We mesh well. And you go shower, I watch him. I watch him, or I shower, or you shower, and then I gotta do something there. Or like we click, and you gotta talk about it. If he's knocked out, we can both get things done. But he's up, and he needs attention. You watch him, I'll do this. I watch him, you do that. So we just click. Now we're more of a smooth machine. You know, there's gonna be some hiccups in here and there, but for the most part, just because I'm a guy doesn't mean I won't do this, or just because I'm there, you know, like I work, so I don't have to change his diaper. I don't believe in that. It's your kid, you're both involved. Now, I do understand if you work full time, she doesn't physically go to work. Maybe at night you gotta get rest. I understand that because I'm there too. Like I work a 12-hour shift. Like it's gonna be tough for me to wake up at 4 in the morning to change his diaper or to feed him. So at that point, my partner will step in. You know, and then in the morning I'll wake up and then I'll feed him, and she gets some sleep and she catches up and recharges her battery. So whatever works for you. But we're both very much involved, and I try to be. I don't really fall into that stigma. Oh, the father doesn't really have to do this because he's a guy. It's not really my cup of tea.
I don't think you realize that you've basically answered your own concern of earlier.
What was the concern? What do you mean?
That you're like, oh, like trying to unravel how my partner and I are going to get back to how we used to feel. This is the new blueprint. This is the new layout.
But it's a blueprint for how we raise him. But what about us? How about feeding into each other?
But you need to understand that the baby can really create a wedge in between both of you. And instead, you guys are learning how to work together in terms of the baby. You just said right now how you're involved. You're giving your wife time for herself. You're not saying, nah, you deal with it. Like, I've been working. What are you talking about? Like, you're here. Instead, you're like, okay, hey, you know what? Let me do this one. You can go do something. Like, that alone is a language of love that I'm not sure that you're understanding. It may not be what you want it to be, because it's not how it used to be.
Yes.
But this is a new love language that you guys are able to speak to each other that I don't know if you've really understood.
Yeah.
That what you think is missing is what people dream that they could have. A system and teamwork and collaboration amongst two people for a third individual. You guys have created this ecosystem that it's working. And that alone is a success that I think people would envy.
But to me, if he doesn't feel it, to me, it just feels like that's kind of like that would should be happening regardless.
But that doesn't mean that it does. And that's things should be happening all the time, right? But shit happens when it doesn't. You guys are making sure it does. And that alone is I think, a feat you guys should celebrate and be happy about.
Yeah, that is true.
That I don't think you understand that other people have it a lot harder, that they don't have the cooperation on both parties.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So give yourself a little bit of credit and maybe a little bit of a sigh of relief to know that it may not be what it used to be, but you guys are working together as a team very efficiently. That people would dream of having that kind of teamwork.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're putting that into perspective and you take things for granted and stuff like that. But you're right. We do work hard to pull each other closer and also raise him in a way where it makes sense for the both of us, where we both still keep our individuality.
Sure.
And then that's kind of half the battle as well. So you're right. I didn't really think about that.
I want to talk a little bit. I've said it before in the past of how one of my buddies, he had his own child from a first marriage. He ended up marrying another woman, had a child from her first marriage. They bought a house together, and he was like, "Oh, we're married. We each have our own kids. We don't really want to have any other kids. We're happy with that. We have our home. We both have jobs." I made it, and he would tell me how every single day after work he would open up a beer, sit on the couch in the same spot and start watching TV every single day, to the point that his wife would, I think they ended up splitting. Well, no, yeah, they for sure ended up splitting because he was with somebody else and she ended up being with somebody else. But it's that where you think, oh, I have the dream life. He would even tell me, like, there was a mark on the couch where I would sit. Like, that's how it was. Like, I would sit there every day. Like, I literally left a mark on that couch.
Crazy.
So then you're here worried about something because it's not perfect, but you don't understand how bad things can actually get. You guys are miles ahead of what a lot of people.
True, but but that was never I never worried about that. And you were,
No, but I
yes.
just mean of how like not being on the same page, where you guys being on the same page of, hey, we got to work together. How can we create this system where you have a life, I have a life, but we're still here together with our lives.
But the truth of the matter is that that's not a coincidence. Like we didn't just fall into this kind of dynamic. Like you chose the partner. You choose the partner you're having a kid with. You choose the person that you marry. You talk about that. We talked about this too. Like
Sure, but one thing is saying, and the other thing is actually walking the walk.
sure, yeah, fair enough. To me,
How many people have promised you something and they ended up not coming through with it?
yes, fair enough. I like to believe if you're willing to have a kid with somebody, and talk about these things. Who's gonna, But that's
Marvin,
but that's the
what
whole
we
point.
practice,
but
and that's
that's
what
the
we
whole-
try to instill on people.
But that's the whole point of what we started this podcast. To
Of
help people.
course.
Right. So it's like I get it. Like I'm not trying to yell into an empty.
What you
room,
want
but
is a perfect life, and I don't think you realize that your life is pretty perfect.
that's
It's
funny
not
that-
what it used to be.
It's funny that you say that. Like, it's funny that you say it like that because like last night, Claudia was like, "Oh, like, would you change? What would you change in your life?" And I'm like, "I wouldn't change anything." Like
Exactly.
the
You're laying down next to your wife
yes,
with your baby.
there's nothing, and it's like you can always want for more.
Of
but
course.
but the true, but no. But like the true point, like want a nicer car, more money, live in a better place.
whatever.
But the truth of the matter is, like, we have a roof over our head. We're sleeping in a comfortable bed. I am with the love of my life. I have a healthy baby. I'm healthy. My wife is healthy.
There's food in the
There's
fucking
food in
fridge.
the
There's
fridge.
AC in
Yes.
this place. We have water, clean.
Yes, I have a vehicle that gets me from A to B. Like, so when she asked me, like, what would you change? I wouldn't change anything. Like, you can always want for more, but I don't need any of that. I have the life that I wanted.
Yeah.
And if I was like, if I was a baby, whatever, like, if I had the life that I had now when I was a baby, I would think that we were rich, that we were like have everything, not rich in like finances, but rich in everything else. So it's funny that he said that. I'm like, you're right. Like, and I'm in a great position. I'm with a great partner, understanding, loving, kind, and I have a healthy baby. Everything else is just icing on the cake.
In the famous words of Andy Bernard from The Office, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch it. I wish there was a way to know that you're in the good old days. Yeah, before you actually left them.
Yes.
And, I think it's take that and really absorb that, because I think right now in the moment, these are the good old days. And I think that
Yes.
as the future goes on and there's going to be other issues that you guys go through, you're going to be like, man, like this was still special, was part of it.
Yeah.
And it's how we are today. It's why we've been able to be successful, not only as a relationship, but also as parents. So I think you need to be a little bit more gentle on yourself.
You're right. I like that. It's like when you say like, "Oh, remember when you used to do this?" Like, remember that part.
Yeah.
Like, this is the part that, like, remember. This is gonna be the part, like, remember when.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I love it.
So I'd like to transition to, unless you had something
Yeah,
else you
yeah,
wanted
go,
to, because we did look a little bit on finding some sort of topics before today, and
Okay.
I'm glad we kind of talked a little bit about what you said, but it kind of feeds into what we've been talking about right now, and like kind of the dynamics of how you guys work together. And there is a thread of, am I the asshole
Yes.
for yelling at my husband for not watching the baby?
Okay.
Recently, my husband and I moved out of state. Here, there is no family or friends that I have to help out with the baby. So I'm a stay-at-home mom with a 2-month-old, and I'm here with her 24/7. I say this because I've asked my husband before if he can watch her. Oh, if he can't watch her when he gets home, so I can have some time to decompress and then come back and take her to make dinner. Usually he does that, but sometimes he doesn't really care and just walks off and does his own thing. Recently, nights have been super hard for me because she's been colicky and has been refusing to sleep. So I'm up all day and all night with only a few hours of sleep. Yesterday, I asked my husband if he could take shifts off or if he could at least feed her or change her so I could rest a little. He proceeds to snap at me and he said he works in the morning and I'm being selfish because I'm not considering that he works all day. Today, I tried to talk to him about it and asked if we could possibly take shifts. He told me he would only be willing to watch her for 1 hour during the night. I lost my temper and started yelling at him for not considering I'm exhausted and I'm with her 24/7. So am I the asshole for yelling at him?
Absolutely not. The thing is, a lot of times, so this guy clocks in and clocks out of work. He works 8 hours a day. She works 24. She doesn't clock out. She works in the morning. She works at night. She works at lunch, in between, fucking whenever. No, she's not the asshole. He's a piece of shit.
Dude, it's like the first comment. So he gets to work 8 hours a day and you're supposed to do 24? No, that's not how it should work. You're obviously not the asshole and your husband needs to pull his head out of his own TA.
Yeah.
Asshole? Maybe? I don't know.
100%, 100%, dude. This guy, like, being like, and I noticed that now, like, being a caretaker, taking care of the baby, whoever does it, it's a full-time job, dude. The only time you maybe get the break is when they sleep, and then but every baby is different. Like him, Matthias, when he's up, you have to entertain him, you have to hold him. There's very little thing you're gonna get done. So, but he's up, and then like you have to when he's colicky. Imagine your baby's colicky. They sleep very little. They're up, they're crying, they're uncomfortable. She has to deal with that stuff nonstop, whether that's 2 p.m., 2 a.m., 4 p.m., 4 a.m., and he has to do his shift, and that's it. But, dude, you're a father now. So,
Well, what were we talking about a little while ago of like how parents used to be back then?
Yeah,
where it's like,
well, true.
You know what I mean?
But this is not the fucking 50s anymore, dude.
It's up to us to be the change that we want to see in the world.
Yes.
You ever heard that? Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not something overnight, but it's a generational shift, and I think this is one of those.
My question is, and I wish we don't know because we're going based off that question. Prime example: 2-month-old, you stay-at-home mom. Did you not talk about your talk about this scenario with your husband? Hey, how's it gonna be? Like me and Claudia talked about this for months. The dynamics, the shift, the changes, blah blah blah. Who's gonna watch this? Who's gonna do that? You're having a baby, dude. This is like a blooper. You have a blooper. You need a plan. All right, course of action, resources. What are you gonna do? Da da da. Contingencies. You got to talk about all that shit. And it sounds silly, like, but you're having a baby with somebody. You're bringing a life into this world. And
It's a
you're
big
not
responsibility. Probably the biggest responsibility.
biggest responsibility of your life. And you never thought about asking your partner, okay, who's gonna wake up at 2 a.m. to change his diaper? Wake up, blah blah blah. Like, what if he's colicky? Okay, you have to talk about finances. Who's gonna go to work? FMLA. How long I'm gonna be off? Okay, if I work, what are the dynamics? What are the parameters? Great that he works. He brings in money. It's a big responsibility. But I argue that she has a bigger responsibility, because if I have to choose between clocking in for 8 hours and working, and taking care of a baby for 24 hours and working, the 24 hours, the baby, that's more work, more responsibility. Arguably more rewarding, 100%.
Sure.
But it's a lot of work. And you working 40 hours, 45 hours a week does not compare to the amount of work that a mother or any caretaker has to take on with a 2-month-old baby. 100%. So he's a dirtbag, and she needs to fucking get on his ass.
I think people are getting married for the wrong reasons. And I'm going to give you an example. Today at work, I had told somebody, I'm like, oh, I'm getting married at the end of the year. And he's like, why? For what? And I'm like, man, it's different. Like, I've known her since I was in kindergarten. He's like, okay, it's a little bit different. But I mean that in the sense, it's like, I'm not getting married because I met her a year ago and I think, oh, okay, it's time. Yeah. Which, granted, people are like, oh, you meet them, meet to marry. Remember? Dr. Hasty, we're big on that. If the systems are in place, which is what Dr. Hasty kind of preaches, it's like, hey, we want you to get married sooner, but we want you to get married for the right reasons. These are the questions that you want to ask your partner to make sure that they're the right partner to marry, if that's your goal, right? Some people have a longer time to develop that because maybe they started dating, like Christina and I. We've had a very long history, a lot of chemistry, and it wasn't until, not so recent anymore, but 5 years, I'd say, that we're like, okay, are we in a position where we really want to do this for real? Mm-hmm. And we both said yes, to the point where we've learned, we've discovered, we've tried to build the teamwork. Yeah. Like, how can we really function as a team? Remember how we say it's not, the problem isn't you versus me, it's us against the problem. So anything that 100%. Comes out of us, it's like, how can we work together? And I think, again, people are just being married for the wrong reasons. So when you say it, it's like, oh, did you not have this conversation? Like, did you not really... like talk about this before the baby came.
Huge step.
And I just don't think that people are just getting married because, well, I've been with her for a year. The next step in our relationship is to get married. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Like, sure, yes, but you need to understand that there's certain requirements that you have to be not only the good partner, but what you would accept of a partner. And that's kind of what I think Dr. Hasty wants to promote. It's like, it's not about that you being together 1 year or 10 years. It's what have you guys done along the time in between? That dash in the middle from the dates, right? We had that a long time ago. It's like, what's happening in that dash? Like, that's what's important. And I think that if you have the right systems in place, you have the right conversations, and you really understand who your partner really is, like their character. And then you have a child with that person is very different than just having a child with your partner you've been with for a year without really having the conversations or the challenges of what it could be and how to work together on those, solving those problems.
100%. And like, people are so worried about like, oh, the nursery, the colors, da. But the real truth of the matter is like, you got to ask and have yourself these conversations about these roles and responsibilities and how you're going to tackle things. And Dr. Hasty always says it. You choosing this partner, you're having a kid with that person, somewhat bound for life, at least certainly for the next 18 years in some shape or form. You don't want to make sure you ask the right questions, like how you going to raise them, school, religion, vaccinate. Like we talked about.
Finances, is there any debt that you're not telling me? Student loans, bankruptcies. Like there's a lot.
There's a lot.
You have to pry a little. It's not anything superficially. Like you really do need to understand and get down there.
I need to know you on a foundational level and who you are as a person. And if this person would have done the homework, they would have found out that this guy's probably a dirtbag. And it's like, oh, fucking at work. I'm not want to wake up at fucking 2 a.m. You know, I've worked the next morning. 10-hour shift, and I would wake up in the night and change the baby, feed the baby. Why? Because my partner deserves a break and deserves to get some rest. And I can tell, like, we communicate. Hey, this today the baby was good. I was able to take a couple naps. Don't worry about it. Like, sleep. I got you. Oh, you know what? He was really bad today. Like, he doesn't feel well. He's really, really quirky. Cries a lot, whatever. I'm hung up on sleep. I need to catch up. Don't worry, baby. I got you. You're a team. I pick up when you're slacking, and vice versa. You're a team. So you got to communicate, just there's no one fits all. But to just blatantly assume, like, yo, like, you're not working, which you are working, but you're not, employed, I guess. That doesn't mean that you're fucking responsible for the baby 24/7. You're a father too. So I have a big problem with that. And I would probably be the furthest opposite from that, but you got to ask yourself what kind of father you want to be, what kind of parent you want to be, and so as a woman, if you want to have a child with somebody, you got to ask the right questions. You got to ask the hard questions. And if it works sense for you, great, whatever. If you want to be waking up at 2 a.m. all the time, doing all these things and never be able to ask your partner for anything when it comes to your kid, it doesn't seem very fulfilling of a relationship for me. To each their own, but at least ask the questions, because that could have been easily avoided. So that's my take. But to circle back and give just encapsulate it, she's definitely not the asshole.
She's not
100%. No, fuck that guy.
Okay.
What about you?
I agree. No, I think it's true. I think after having this, I don't know how long we've been recording for, but you're hearing your story and I think there's this word that I still haven't figured out how to say it in English, but la gana. Like you have the want, and like you want to make sure that it's like, hey, you know what? Like I want to do this. I have the desire, I have the urge or the calling. Like I need to do this. And 100%. I think that level of discipline is different, and that's what's I think missing in a lot of people when they're not willing to do the work.
100%. So
big responsibility.
Big responsibility,
but it seems
like the reward is bigger.
Landed on that.
Yes. Parents, fathers, mothers, any advice, any insight, I'm always willing to listen.
Yes, please share any experiences that you've gone through and how you overcame, and any direct, advice
feedback
for Marvin based on what he said. Let us know your story, what you guys have done, how you guys overcame, how you solved it, or give us some sort of stories to see if how we can avoid any downfall.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
That being said, ladies.
Thank you guys for the support.
Thank
Love
you
you.
for the support for real. Shout out Marvin, new dad, yeah, crushing it.
Thank you.
And a boy. Till next time.
Ciao, guys.
Peace.